Miri Eisin is a retired Israeli Defense Forces colonel. Miri, welcome, good to see you. We're seeing the start of Israel's incursion into Lebanon, a sovereign country. If this is the start, in your experience, where does this end? What is Israel's end game?
Israel's end game is that Lebanon, a sovereign country, will not have a state within a state, that Hezbollah has fired over 8,000 rockets into Israel over the last 11 months before the last 2 weeks. They've done even more in the mid and long range into the greater Tel Aviv area where I live, where Jonathan was reporting from before. So that end game is we would love to see a sovereign Lebanon that takes responsibility and does not have this enormously armed terror army inside Lebanon on Israel's border. Okay,
so we're hearing 1 million people on the move in Lebanon. What would be an acceptable number of civilian deaths in Lebanon?
What would be the acceptable number of Israel doing defense when 8,000 rockets were fired into Israel? Thank God we've only had some casualties because we invested heavily against all these incoming rockets. You were mentioning also before that Iran now is directly trying to threaten us, and here I am in my house waiting for an air siren. I don't like to compare casualties. I think that losses in war are horrible for all sides. And what I do want to hear is to hear that Hezbollah, the one that has been firing against Israel, they're proud of the tunnels that they built. They're proud of the fact that they wanted to attack us and that they did so this 11 months. They're the ones that should be held responsible by everybody. And we are defending ourselves, and I never target civilians, and I want to hope that we won't hit civilians.
The IDF has described this as a limited, localized and targeted military operation against Hezbollah. We're both old enough, I think, to remember 1978. Israel was trying to clear the same ground then when it launched Operation Litani, and it invaded again, of course, in 1982. That occupation lasted 18 years. All military land incursions incur a huge of becoming bogged down, don't they? Is this going to be any different?
I hope so, Jamie. I was a young officer in 1982, and there I was still in the military in 2000, and only then did we leave. But the flip side of that, Jamie, is that for the last 24 years, Israel has not been in Lebanon. And Hezbollah, who will claim that they're the ones who pushed us out, and that was part of what was happening at the time, they did not then stop attacking Israel. In 2006, they crossed into Israel and started that second Lebanon war when they kidnapped and killed soldiers. So I would say in that sense, I don't expect us to stay in long. Let's all look and see how we make sure that Hezbollah does not define what happens here, not on our border and not in the Middle East.
Miri Eisin, I'm sure we'll talk more in the coming days, but for the moment, thank you very much. Miri Eisin, the retired Israeli Defense Forces colonel.